Go to LinkedIn, take all the jobs that you see there, start applying. No. First, update your resume. Go to LinkedIn, throw in the same updates there, throw in everything. Make sure you cover everything you've done so far. Okay, after that, look through LinkedIn, create a search criteria, see whatever jobs there are, apply online for them. Tell them exactly what you've done, and you don't need to prep yet. Wait for the recruiter to reach out to you. Oh, and by the way, during that time, why didn't you do some AI courses? Like any AI, Python, learn R, whatever the latest tools are, whatever people are saying, just go and learn it and then keep applying. And look, it's a numbers game. So when you get the first recruiter call, talk to the recruiter. And then if you get a hiring manager call, you can start preparing for the hiring manager call, research the company, figure out what you're going to tell them about yourself, like all those things. And just keep going. You'll land a role. I mean, what's so hard about it? That is what not to do when you want to land a product management job here in 2025, when the market's improving, but every single job still gets 500 to 1,000 applicants, and where the most sought after jobs, oh, forget about those. You don't even want to know the numbers those jobs get. Now, what would I do if I wanted to land that awesome product management role, especially one related with AI in 2025? Take the entire roadmap from me right here. Listen, I've helped 1,000 product managers land their dream roles. On average, our clients get somewhere between 35% and 85% increase. And they land their job within 3 to 6 months. And those are just averages. There have been people who've doubled or tripled their compensation. It's just been absolutely crazy, like a whole bunch of fun. Now, previously, I've also been a product manager at Google for 4 years. And before that, led product at 3 startups. So I'm not a creator who just coming in and creating content for you and have the side hustle. This is what I do day to day. I have to say we are the best at helping people land their dream product management roles. So you must pay attention to what I'm saying and be ready to take notes, because these steps could completely change your life. So let's get going. If I was starting my job search in 2025, this is exactly what I will do. And by the way, if you stick around, there's a bonus for all those people who are interested in their next job being truly next level. So not just 20% better than their current job, but really that next level job. So let's get going. Now I understand you might be wondering, Shobit, this is a tough market. I really need to stand out. But there's a good reason that it's tough. A good reason that it's tough is product management is an extraordinary profession. When do you ever get to be close to as the CEO of the product, general manager of the product? Which other job comes even close? So you get to work with different types of functions: marketing, engineering, sales, data scientists, stakeholders from across the company, build innovative products, have a major impact, and at the same time, make a lot of money. You're not digging ditches here. You're doing amazing work and you'll be compensated highly for it, with a fair amount of security and skills that you can keep building up as you grow up in your career. When you think of 2025, what's going to happen is that the market is going to improve. It's already improving, but only slowly. What we've seen over 2024, first end of 2023, the market was completely dead. And then last year it started to pick up, and now it started to pick up in a significant way. I mean, at this point, basically we're having one negotiation call with our clients every day, helping them negotiate their offer, whether it's a single offer or in many cases, multiple offers. And some of these clients have been looking for a while. So we see that turnaround. We see that they've built up their skills, and at the same time, the market is starting to change. I heard the other day from someone who'd got a chief product and technology officer role. And this person was really confused, could they qualify for that sort of role? But they positioned themselves well and they got it. It was an absolute dream role for them. So things are continuously happening. I'll even link to some of the recent wins in the description and here, so you can check that out later. The fact remains that even right now, for every job, there are 500 to 1,000 applicants. It's a very in-demand profession, so you have to do what is required to stand out. So let's start with the things I would do. Let's start with number 1. Be clear on what you want from the next role, if it has the right platform to help you succeed in the long term. Now, this is where I'm completely shocked, because product managers I've seen them consistently put so much thought into their products. Who are the customers? What's the vision? What are the pain points of the customers? What are the business goals? They think this through deeply, coming up with ideas. But when it comes to their careers, nothing. It's like, cool, the job is good. 10% better is good enough. And they ask, how do I get it 10% better? That's the core question. What they need to do is to apply the same principles from product management to their career. And so they've got to think about their career like a product. What does that mean? Well, do some customer research on yourself. What are your long-term goals? What exactly do you value and how much? Quantify it. What are the things that are important in this next role? I mean, when I work with people, we're doing exercises that I do with customers when conducting user research, customer research to figure out what people really want. So be clear on what your ideal job is. And remember, just like products, you've got to have them be solving a real problem. That's what your job is meant to do. It's meant to solve a problem in your life. But also, the job needs to be feasible. Just like any products, you want to make sure it's feasible. So you also need to take a look at your career and determine which skill sets you will market. The experiences you've built up, how will you market yourself to land that particular role? Because it's cool to say, cool, I just want $1 million. So how about a director of product role at Google? I mean, that sounds amazing. But if you've just done 2 years of product management so far, that might not be very feasible. By combining desirability, attractiveness of the job with feasibility, you can develop a good strategy for what to target next. Step number 2. Now that you know what the ideal next role looks like, ensure that you have a clear sense of your target income, money, the compensation. It's the dirty word that nobody wants to talk about because it almost seems like there's never enough. Others are making way more than you. Or people question, am I being greedy if I do this, if I ask for more? People carry a lot of shame and a lot of guilt about money. What I want you to do is to own your target income. Get a real valuation of how much you could be making, whether it's in terms of base, bonus, stock units, stock options, whether you value predictable income versus okay with being a little underpaid in predictable but have a huge upside potential. All those kind of things you need to figure out and understand what it is that you're going for. Now, here's the deal. Most people, they start from their current income. Okay, what's the market ready to pay for my skill set? 300,000, 350,000, 400,000? And remember, we're talking about total compensation. Many people tend to fixate on their base and not worry about total compensation, while you might get it almost in a way such that it's close to being equal to your base. Like for example, at Google, one of the things that they do is they pay you stock units. And you can set these stock units to auto sell. So you actually get the compensation exactly how they're worth. And so for me, when I was there, I was getting multiple years of stock units, and that's what increased the income over time. That's really what made the difference. So you got to take into account total compensation. So get a real good sense of what your worth is and what your target income should be for this role. So that's the second thing I would do. Okay then, step number 3 is I set my target role. I have a good sense of my income. I know my previous skills. I know what I want. Your previous experiences and skills and domain knowledge that you bring, plus what you want, give you your target levels, your target roles, your target companies. Determine that upfront. Don't go to LinkedIn and start to look for jobs, because if you did, it's just like, hey, what's available right now? Well, there's a whole bunch of things. There's often hidden jobs which are not even available anywhere, and maybe you need to find other ways of finding them. We have a few techniques that we teach in intentional job search so that you have that determination up front. So now you know what your target levels are. Number 4, the thing I would do next is to build my belief that I deserve that target level. In fact, you should have a belief that you already have that. Shobit, you're talking crazy now. What do you mean I already have that? I don't. That is why I'm looking for the job. Yes, but maybe in a parallel universe, you have that. The more you believe that, hey, I've already gotten what I needed to achieve, and now I'm just going through the process of actually having it manifest, the more it becomes familiar. The more it becomes like, oh, this is just what I do. This is just what I am. I mean, it's sort of like, you own a car. It's like I own a Tesla Model Y, which I love. I'm a fanboy for sure. Not of Elon, but of Tesla. Do I go every day into the car and then do I pretend like, oh, I hope my Tesla's still there. I hope it's there. I hope it's there. No, I just walk in. Oh, wow, this is my Tesla. Great, let's get going. It's just my car. I just own it. And that's the level you need to have with what you want to achieve. Now, I know this is a complex and often strange topic, so I won't be able to do justice here, but building a belief that you absolutely deserve what you have, it's happening, it's inevitable. In fact, it's happening right now. That is fundamental because that determines your thoughts, it determines your actions, it determines how you show up, it determines how confident you will be in the interviews, and that confidence is just as important as competence in landing that role. People say that I will believe it when I see it. You know what I tell them? I tell them I will see it when I believe it. It's only when you believe it, it is going to appear, and that's when you are going to get it. Now, you might make fun of the notion. In fact, my wife makes fun of me when I say that. But it is ultimately true. You have to believe it before you see it appear in your life. Number 5, while I'm doing this, I would be building AI fluency, or at least AI literacy. Now let's talk about building AI fluency, especially if you're a product manager without a strong technical AI background. So look, I wouldn't start with a Python course. I wouldn't start with like a deep neural net Coursera course. That's not the goal. First, I'd get clear on what AI PM roles actually require. Most of them are not about training neural networks. They're building products that solve real user problems with AI as a tool. So the question becomes, can you think like an AI product manager or an AI product leader? I'll pick one problem that you can solve for yourself or a similar demographic with AI. Content summarizations, recommendations, anything. Then build a simple solution using a few AI tools. It could be with GPTs, with LangChain, with no-code tools that plug into LLMs. There's so many different options available. You're not proving that you can be an engineer. You're proving you can solve problems with AI. And I'd use that project, that side gig, on my resume. Highlight the problem, your role, how you applied AI, and what impact you created. If you want to cheat code, hire a freelancer on Upwork who can help you debug and accelerate. Because many times when people are building with AI, the biggest problem is they run into an issue and they don't know how to solve it. And that takes forever. So have someone who just assists you on an ongoing basis. It's worth every single penny. I'm building AI skill sets, but at the same time, I'm going to build my strategic narrative. What does that mean? This is your script. This is going through your career and finding out what are the stories you want to tell and stitch those together just like you would when you would create a movie. You must create that script first. So movies are going to come later. The actual scenes of the movies are going to come later, like in terms of interviews and whatnot. But you've got to script things out, and that script should basically be a movie that showcases why you're the perfect fit for the kind of role you want to go to. This is one of the fundamental mistakes where people begin with interview questions first. Interview questions come later. You've got to begin with the overall script of why you're a good fit, and then you can choose from your script and figure out how to answer many different kinds of questions. Don't do things backwards. Don't begin with the interview questions first and try to reverse engineer your answers from that. Start with your script. What are the experiences that make you an amazingly good fit and help you stand out? And then use those to answer those different kinds of interview questions. It's something, we call it the behavioral keyword method in our intentional job search program. We spend a whole bunch of time on it. This is absolutely fundamentally critical. Build out your script first, build out your narrative first. Another mistake that's right here is people want to begin with the resume. Again, the resume should be more or less a byproduct of your stories, of your narrative. The narrative is what you need first. When people come to me and ask me, is my resume ready? I'm like, are your stories ready? Because if they are, then we can take it, incorporate it in your resume, and you're pretty much done. It's very, very easy to go from your strategic narrative to your resume. Very hard to just work on the resume on its own, and you're going to miss a whole bunch of things. Okay, listen, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you hit subscribe so you see fewer cat videos and more videos relevant to product management and my channel. And you also know I have some cats and they appear sometimes in the videos, but optimize for your learning. Next, number 7, you create your marketing materials. What are your marketing materials? Your resume, your LinkedIn, the answers you're going to give to different types of interview questions, whether it's product design, strategy, metrics, analytics, behavior, leadership, system design. I mean, those go on. You have to prep, but what's critical is you need to have these ready at the level at which you're targeting. So, for example, you might be targeting L4 at Google. Great. The answers you need to give to the same questions are very different at L6. You cannot compare these with each other. When people move from one FANG company to another, let's say from Google to Meta, what I've heard over and over again, that it's almost impossible to move from one company to another at a higher level than you were before. Let's say L6 at Google to L7 at Meta. But we've done it many, many times with our clients. We've helped our clients get that. Why? Because the level of their answers was at the L7 level, even though they weren't at the L7 level in their previous role. That is the critical thing. All your marketing materials, resume, LinkedIn, everything should be tailored to the right level that you're applying for. Number 8, apply online. Nope, that was a joke. Number 8 is don't apply online. Build and activate your network. You know, I pride myself on having a very strong network. But really, where this network first got built was when I was looking for my first product management job. I mean, I'm still in touch with many people who literally did not hire me when I was looking for my first product management job. In fact, some of them ended up becoming my students and me helping them in their job search. You're looking for a job, but you're still strengthening and rebuilding your network and building it further. And it's so much fun if you look at it that way. Many times people look at it as something that they have to do. I'm going to encourage you to look at networking as something that you get to do and you reap long-term benefits from it. It's just so much fun. But coming back to it, look, here's the thing. Applying online, we know, doesn't work. There's a good chance that you get like 1% results. Like you apply and 1% of those get back to you. Why? There's a really good chance that your resume was never looked at. There's no magic ATS systems that decides everything. That's a myth. The chance that somebody is actually going to get to your resume is more like chance. It might happen, it might not. And it doesn't depend on the quality of your resume. Instead, if you have someone who's advocating for you and referring you, you have that unfair advantage that you need in landing that product management job. So the best thing you can do is activate your own network and leverage your own network because there's people out there that you work with who want to help you. Most of the time, people don't get that level of help because of what reason? Why do you think they don't get it? Well, think about it. It's very simple. They just don't ask for it. They feel shy about asking for it. They feel that it's a favor. What we found is if you ask the right way, people want to help you. People feel great about helping you. Think about the time you helped others. Did you feel the sense of like, oh, awesome, like I'm great, a sense of satisfaction? I mean, that's what you're giving these people. No matter how strong or weak your network is, you're probably not leveraging it enough. Okay, number 9, and you always interview with the goal of improving. See, the first set of interviews should be mock interviews. Ideally with someone who has hired product managers at that level and can tell you exactly what you need to do to improve. Now here your mindset is really important because if I had something like intentional job search, that's what I would do. But the point is that you've got to be able to open to feedback and get it from the right people. One of the worst things that people do is that they rely on peers to give them feedback. Now, some peer interviews are good practice. But if you want feedback from somebody who hires product managers at the level at which you're interviewing, so they can point out exactly what's wrong and what you need to fix, that is exactly what you need to do to improve. Now, that is what product managers often may make a mistake of. And the level you want to get your interviews is what we call unconscious competence. Most people tell you about frameworks. Now, what are frameworks? They're a way to structure your answer. In some sense, they're a crutch, and nothing wrong with them. Where you want to get to is that framework is kind of there in the background, but you're not reliant on it. You're so good that type of interview that you can just nail it and you can change the framework around to suit the interview. Anybody who plays a musical instruments, initially they are like following the notes. They're doing exactly what that, and then they're so good they start to improvise. Like jazz musicians, they come up with something new every time they play. They're still using the same notes, but they come up with something new. That's the level at which you need to get to for interviews if you want to get to that next level role. If you want to just stay at your current level, whatever, doesn't matter. But it's only if you're looking to strive and get to the next level does it truly matter. And to be honest, it's like preparing for a marathon. You've got to peak at the right time. You've got to do the reps. You've got to do even different forms of exercises to get ready for a marathon. You don't just run, you stretch, you warm up, maybe you do weights. I don't know. I don't do marathons, but for a sport, I need to strengthen certain muscles. All those kinds of things. That's one of the cool things is we do when we're working with people is they're not just doing pure mock interviews. They're doing group sessions, written exercises, all different ways to be ready for the interview and to maximize their time and use different access points, including AI. So lots of fun stuff there. Now, last but not least, even if you're successful in interviews, you've got to know how to negotiate your compensation. You might just not land exactly what you want. You might not get what you deserve. So here's what's important to understand is to have some insider knowledge. Understand what people in this market with your level of experience and domain knowledge and skills are making. You can change that based on your positioning and then you negotiate. Now, negotiation could be through on video. Maybe I'll do it at some point. But one of those things is that you don't want to paint yourself in a corner early. You don't want to box yourself and be like, cool, hey, so we're willing to pay 160 to 180,000. Is that okay with you? There's ways you can get around that. But if you agree to something upfront, it is very hard to negotiate out of it. And then there's specific ways and language that you can use that will make the hiring manager and the recruiter want to advocate for you. Because if they're advocating for you, that is your biggest leverage. That's the way you're going to get that maximum compensation for that role, other than, of course, having multiple offers. Then you play them against each other if you do. And I would want to time my interview such that I can have multiple offers and go and do that negotiation. This is the list of things I would do if I was looking for a new role in 2025. Get clear on what you want. Know what you're worth. Set your target role appropriately based on what you're worth and what you want and what you bring to the table. Build belief that you deserve that role. Build AI fluency. Build out your core narrative, which is a script that inspires your interviewers. Get your marketing materials like your resume, LinkedIn, your interview answers ready. Build and activate your networks. Practice interviews, mock with the eye of learning and getting to the next level, and build unconscious competence. And last but not least, when you land that role, negotiate. Negotiate until you have your target income.